We have completed the topic of conventions. Right. So today we'll be UNFCCC done. I think Rotterdam done. Stockholm Convention done. All of this was done in the previous section. So today we'll start with okay. There are certain terms that I have to discuss. For example, Global Environmental Fund. Yes, Akansha, I got your papers also. I'll submit it to admin. Just collect it from there whenever you get the time. Maybe tomorrow if you are coming, so you can collect it from admin. All right. So today we'll be discussing about some of the facts such as climate finance, etc. And then we'll do the sustainable development topic. So I'll be just quickly running through the topic that we have done so that we can have an idea. So first is come, hello. So first, Akansha, just let me know if you can hear me out, and you can ping me and put your hands up in the.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done. Good. So I'll be just quickly running through that. So first is the pollution that we have done. Okay. So environmental pollution has already been done in the class. Yes or no? Quickly. Has it been done or not? Akansha?
No, ma'am, it's not done yet.
It's not done yet. Okay. So maybe in the other class I have got this done. All right. Then we have done Project Cheetah, Project Elephant. That has been done in the class.
Yes, ma'am.
Done. Good. So what we'll be starting with today, we'll be starting with environmental pollution. We'll discuss all the convention related to that too. And then the only topic which will left is for the next class will be sustainable development. Right? Fine. So come to the topic of environmental pollution quickly. All right. How many sources of pollution that we are having? There are majorly 4 sources of pollution that is there. One is your air pollution. Next one is your water pollution. Then your nuclear, which is called radioactive pollution, and noise pollution. And noise pollution. These are the prominent pollution types that you are having. And all of these are having the different remedies, different strategies to mitigate, right? So this is your first class today. Which class you had just before this? No, subject that you had just before my class. Okay, that was cancelled. Okay, done. So now talk about air pollution, water pollution, radioactive and noise pollution. Okay, so what is our air pollution? Tell me, what do you understand by air pollution? Any pollution means what? Hmm. 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 You commute from Gurgaon, right? So what happened in Gurgaon last day? Something happened, right? Some power shot. No, power shortcut, something like that. It's a major one, massive one. Okay. In the news, they're showing like that. Okay. It came back. All right, done. So write down air pollution. What is that? Just we are going to discuss it first, and then we are going to write because it becomes quite monologue from my end, just to dictate everything. So tell me, air pollution means what? What you will have which is not unwanted in the air. What is that? What is that element which is unwanted in the air? Poly? Pollutants. Okay. What sort of pollutants are you having? Which are not good for our health. For example, smoke and particulate material. Particulate matter. Right. In November, December, we hear it a lot. that we are having a particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10 has been increased to a very high level, and then we have to bring it back. Have we heard it or not? Right? Lot many times we hear this. The particulate matter has increased to a level, and that we have to decrease it. Okay. Next what? Next what? Carbon emission. What sort of a carbon emission is there? So what I can see from everybody's viewpoint, that your knowledge is little scattered. You do have a knowledge that what is there, what are called as a pollutant, but you do not know how to explain it. That is the main challenge. So always understand the point. I'm not saying that whatever present in the air, for example, the oxygen, which is important for us, carbon dioxide is also important for photosynthesis process. We are not saying complete carbon dioxide is unwanted, but yes, too much amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is definitely unwanted, right? Then your carbon monoxide is unwanted, your nitrous oxide is unwanted, your PM 2.5, PM 10. These are the dust particles, particulate matter. Particulate matter means these are the dust particles which are unwanted. It just get into your lungs, etc., without you even knowing. Okay, and then it would it's going to get accumulated, and it's not good for the any species health. Not forget about only humans, for any species health it is not good, right? Then what else you are going to have in air pollution? Air pollution, what you are going to have, etc., apart from this? Other things, other pollutants you are going to have. Akansha, you can also reply. There is another student, Reddy, which is also there. Yes. What else you are having? Particulate matter you are having. Then that's it. CO2 in a major form. Then
CO.
Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is quite potent in the atmosphere, and this all of them then can also react and create a lot of problems. For example, when NO2 and SO2 comes together, and it creates an acid. The acid name is H2SO4 and HNO3, which you call it as nitric acid and sulfuric acid. When they both meet, they create what? Acid rain. And this acid rain is not good. What this acid rain does, it already has acid, right? This acid rain is not going to be helpful for your, yes, correct. So write down pollutants. सबसे पहले लिखेंगे environmental pollution. Write down the topic environmental pollution. Environmental pollution refers to undesirable changes. Write down the heading environmental pollution. Environmental pollution refers to undesirable changes in the physical, chemical, chemical and biological characteristics of air, water and soil. Of air, water and soil. Of air, water and soil. Write down. Often due to human activities, full stop. These changes negatively affect human life. These changes negatively affect human life. These changes negatively affect human life and living organism. The term pollution is derived from Latin word polluo. The term is derived from Latin word polluo, meaning to pollute. What is the meaning of polluo? Meaning is to pollute. Meaning to pollute. Next point. And pollutionem, meaning contamination. And pollutionem, pollution, It means contamination. ठीक है? Right? So write down, environmental pollution is what it refers to undesirable changes in the physical, chemical, biological characteristics of air, water, soil due to human activity. These changes negatively affect human life and living organism. The term is pollution is derived from pollure, which means what? To pollute. It's a Latin word. From there we have derived. And pollution means pollution, contamination, right? So environmental pollution is what? It is in any form. कोई भी फॉर्म हो सकता है, या तो वो बायोलॉजिकल फॉर्म में हो सकता है, और इट कैन बी इन फिजिकल फॉर्म, और इट कैन बी इन केमिकल फॉर्म. एनीथिंग व्हिच इज प्रेजेंट इन द एटमॉस्फेयर which is unwanted is referred to as what? Pollution. And can present anywhere. It can present in air, it can present in water, it can present in soil, right? So biological pollutant, can you tell me the name of the biological pollutant? Just categorize them. लिखिए आप लोग, figure it out and write down 3 names under physical pollutant, biological pollutant and chemical pollutant. Write the table, make the table and write it down. Write down. Make a table and write it down. Okay. Biological. Write it. What all have you written? Can you tell me the example? Name of the physical pollutant. Okay, very good. And okay, excellent. Then what will come in the chemical pollutants? Hmm. Hmm. Industrial waste. Okay. All right. Can acid rain also come into that? Yes. And what else have you said? No, this one. Corrosive material. Yes. Then industrial waste. And what will come into the physical pollutant? Your PM 2.5, PM 10. All of these are dust particles, etc. Okay. This will come in physical. Physical. Chemical means you're basically chemical reaction is happening and then it's forming. Corrosive material forms after chemical reaction. Acid rain forms after chemical reaction between two components, elements. Okay. Okay. Now I hope we are clear with the idea of this. Can I say that pollution can also be divided into two parts further? One is the biodegradable pollutants and another is non-biodegradable, right? There could be some pollutants, for example, which can be biodegraded by the microorganisms, right? They can be treated, but there are certain which cannot be treated. For example, plastic has become extremely potent for us. Why? Because we cannot treat this. We can, and it will keep on remaining in the. Okay, welcome, Kevin. It keep on. No, we can reuse it, but the point is it's not diminishing. It's not getting wiped out of the planet Earth. That is the main concern. And when the organisms which do not know and they by mistake eat that up and they get stuck into their what do you call their intestine, then it will become very difficult for them even to breathe. So what happens at that point of time? We need a situation, we need some equipment or the technology which can erode it. Although we do have a lot of technology present wherein we can biodegrade this component, but the point is we do not have a very substantial one, right? So what we need to divide it on the basis of degradability, that how we can degrade this material. So it is divided into two parts. One is a biodegradable pollutant and the one is your non-biodegradable. So write down in the flow chart biodegradable and non-biodegradable pollutants. This will be on the basis of degradation. This is on the basis of degradation, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. And non-biodegradable. Okay. Write down in the biodegradable pollutants. Write down these pollutants are broken down by biological processes or microorganisms. These are broken down by biological processes or microorganisms. For example, include sewage, which includes sewage, comma, rotting vegetables and fruits. Non-biodegradable pollutants include, these pollutants include which do not decompose naturally. Non-biodegradable includes which do not decompose naturally and persist in the environment for the longer period of time. And persist into environment for a longer period of time, such as benzene. Have you heard of this? Right? It is benzene hexachloride. Apart from the plastic, you can also mention this example, benzene hexachloride. Benzene hexachloride. Then you can write the example of lead, which having a heavy metal such as lead, arsenic. All of these are non-biodegradable. Non-biodegradable. Then we can divide the pollutants on the basis of, again, two parts. For example, whether they are the primary pollutant or secondary pollutant. Now, how do we define a primary pollutant? Anything which has been originated and it has not taken any sort of chemical reaction with any other component or element. So you will call it as primary pollutant, right? And when it has taken, when two components have got together, they have gone under the chemical reaction, we will call it as secondary pollutant. So how come we are having two components like that? Primary pollutant and no, this is not science class. Environmental. Okay. Yes, you are. You have not attended previous classes, right? That's it. What's your name? When have you taken the admission? Okay, but I'm not seeing you in the class. Were you taking recorded lectures? Okay, this is your first class? Okay, so all right, sit. Madam, primary pollutants, these are pollutants which directly enter into the environment. These are the pollutants which directly enter into the environment from their source. These are the pollutants which directly enter into the environment, which directly enter into the environment from their source. From their source, right? This is the primary pollutant. Include, what is the example that you will include in it? Nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, and what else? Sulfur dioxide. All three these examples are the examples of primary pollutants which directly enter into the environment from the source. So they are not in that particular form only, they have come into the environment, they are not taking any chemical reaction. So this is what your primary pollutants are. That is the secondary. Two primary pollutants then combined together, they go under the chemical reaction. Then after that, the secondary pollutants are being formed. Chemical pollutants are always, no, we cannot make that. That is quite a generalized statement that you are quoting, and we cannot generalize something unless we know all the examples that we know, right? You are trying to go from particular to general. From one example, you are trying to make a universal statement. Okay, that is not advisable. So write down secondary pollutant. These are pollutants formed through chemical reactions. These are formed through chemical reactions involving primary pollutants. Involving primary pollutants. Example में लिखेंगे peroxyacetyl. Write down peroxyacetyl. Write down the example peroxyacetyl. Write down next. It's a chemical, like peroxyacetyl nitrate. The full form is peroxyacetyl nitrate. And in the short form, we write it as PAN. There was a question also in previous year, I mean last UPSC Prelims, it has been asked from PAN, peroxyacetyl nitrate. Then write down, it is formed when nitrogen oxide and hydrocarbons, when this has been formed, when the nitrogen oxide and hydrocarbons combine. Hydrocarbons combine. These have been formed when nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen oxide and hydrocarbons combine. Then what will be the formation pan, right? Okay. Now, getting to the next point, we are categorizing the pollutants on the basis of the source. Source means whether, if you know the source, for example, for any pollutant, it's necessary that you should know the source always? No. It can be the case that you know the source of the pollutant. It cannot be the case where you do not know the source of the pollutant. So the point is, when you know from where it is coming, so you call it as point source pollutants. Write down, on the basis of the source. On the basis of the source, we can divide the pollutant into, on the basis of the source, we can divide the pollutant into point source pollutant, point source pollutant, and non-point source pollutant, and non-point source pollutant. We can divide it into two parts. In the point source pollutant, write down, it is emitted from a specific identifiable, it is emitted from the specific identifiable location. Specific plus, write down in short form, specific plus identifiable location. मतलब आपको पता है कहाँ पे, from where it is originating, you can easily spot it whenever you want to treat this point source pollutant, right? Next, non-point source pollutant. Non-point source pollutant, they get diffused with primary pollutant. They get diffused with primary pollutant, and it is very difficult to spot from where this particular pollutant is being originated from. Non-point source pollutant, diffuse pollutants with no specific origin. हाँ, जैसे अभी आपको पता है नवंबर दिसंबर में what happens, there is a burning which happens where, yes, what do you call parari? In Hindi you call it as parari, and in English you call it as, is a stubble burning which happens, right? It's a stubble burning which happens in Punjab, etc. Why it happens? Because when they have to sow the seed, before that they try to get away, rid of all the weeds, etc., and rice husk especially. And how they did it, especially what is the procedure behind that? So the simplest way to do it is by burning it. And when you burn something, all the harmful gases such as your carbon monoxide and other gases, they just get released from that, and then they go to far away places. For example, to Delhi also it comes, to Haryana especially, and then to the other adjacent areas also. It creates a lot of pollutant. Okay? Everybody is aware of this fact, because every year that is a story that we have to, all of us have to deal with. And then apart from that, there's a lot of smoke which comes, right? And we are putting a mask on the face, etc. Everybody knows that situation. Somebody who is from Delhi has been knowing it, from Haryana has been knowing it from a very long time. So this is a situation which aggravates the pollutants at that point of time. Aggravation ka matlab, it creates more of it accelerates the solution, the pollutants. So what happens? So you have to understand that this is one example wherein you know the source. Okay, you know from where it is coming, why it is happening. Sometimes the situation is you do not know the source, pollutants are there, but you do not know from where it is coming. There is no nearby industries also which have been set up. There is no mines also which have been there, from where the mines have been extracted, or you're not doing any anthropogenic activities also. Water pollution, because we are doing pollutants right now. Water pollution will also come in this. Air pollutants, we are talking about pollutants of every, yes, every medium, air also, soil also, water also, everything we are talking here. Okay, getting the point? All right, write down. Now the first pollution we are going to talk about is air pollution. Write down. The first pollution, type of a pollution we are going to talk about is, write down, air pollution. But before that, you have to write an example. Write an example. Can you write 150 words on this? Yes. Government. It's government. It's a short form I have written. Government. Government is taking to reduce its impact. Reduce its impact. Write down in 150 words. Yeah, you can. how much have we completed? How much? What about you? Started writing? What happened? Why did you did it in classes? Okay. You're pursuing from where? Karodimal. Okay. All right. And which honors? So write down, so for now, you can just write it in a simple way, write in paras, then later on I'll tell you that how you have to do the structuring. Okay. ठीक है, done. Show me the answer. Why are you writing with pencil? Okay, okay.
I'll take a pen out.
Okay. To do it for clearing hill for next harvest season. Okay. Now you understand PM 2.5, PM 10. Subsidy up to 30 to 80% on machine use of, what is this? Use of what? No, what is this?
Straw.
Straw. Straw per power?
For packaging power plants.
For power plants.
We can use the straw for power plants, use for packing materials and others.
Okay.
Like rather than working with providers. And they're also providing subsidies.
So there was one a recent news also that some students from IIT also, they have created a equipment wherein you don't have to burn the crops. What is the idea? What is the idea to remove it? The idea is that you need to remove all these husks, etc. So instead of burning, what they are saying, you can use the equipment. I don't know how much effective it has been. I think the prototypes were ready and they have used it as well. They have been deployed and they have used that as well. But I don't know how much area they can cover, because the point is, so these farmers are in quite they are quite what do you call it? They are quite in hurry to clear all the areas, right? Because they have to prepare the land for the next harvest season. So what happens, because they are in hurry, they quickly do it, because the only method, the only solution they have is to burn it, right? That's why they do not listen to anyone, they just do it. But the point is, why you're using that equipment, whether that equipment is going to clear the area very quickly or not. That is the main problem. Although we do have a lot of prototypes available in different institutes, IIT and a lot of engineering institutes, they have created it. But the point here is, how capable are these equipments to clear the land? Whether they can clear it in, if you're taking a month or so, then it will become very difficult for the farmers to wait for a month and then to prepare the soil and then to collect. Otherwise, what will happen? The season will go on. So that is the problem. The problem is of feasibility, not availability. So we do have the proper prototypes available with us. Okay? Correct. Correct. Right. So write down quickly. The first pollution type of a pollution that we are doing today is the air pollution. Likhiye. Air pollution. Write down air pollution. Write down air pollution. Write down air pollution occurs when harmful substances such as air pollution occurs when harmful substances such as smoke, dust, or gases are released into the atmosphere, and gases are released into the atmosphere, causing harm to living organisms and environment, causing harm to living organism and environment. As per WHO, more than 99% of pollution, live in areas where the air pollution is above WHO air quality guidelines. In MC Mehta versus Union of India, in MC Mehta, this was one of the classic cases where they have defined that a clean environment is your basic right. The clean air is your basic right. So that is something that you can ask for. That is a legitimate right that you can clearly say that we are not having a fresh air, we are not having a clean air to breathe. And then if you have seen that a lot of protests also happen in November, December near India Gate because of these aggravated situation only. Right? So likhiye MC Mehta versus Union of India, 1986, Supreme Court treated the right to live in pollution-free. Supreme Court treated the right to live in pollution-free environment as a part of fundamental right, to live in pollution-free environment as a part of fundamental right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution. Under Article 21 of the Constitution. Now write down the major sources of air pollution. See, air pollution can happen because these are the natural processes which are happening in the environment and you cannot do anything about it. For example, what are the natural processes which are creating the air pollution? For example, your volcanic eruptions. If volcanoes have been erupted, that is natural, you cannot do anything about it. The kind of the gases, pyroclastic materials which are coming out of it, the dust particles coming out of it, the smoke coming out of it, CO, SO2, your sulfur dioxide, all of this has been created how? Naturally. There is nothing that you can do about it. But the point is here that the natural processes का जितना percentage है, उससे कहीं ज़्यादा आपकी human activities का percentage है. So even if you ignore this 1%, then the rest of the 90% is still lying. The onus is still lying on the humans that you have to decrease these careless activities that you are doing in your everyday life. Okay. So natural processes, write down natural sources: volcanic eruptions, wildfires, dust storms, volcanic eruptions, wildfires, dust storms, and natural decay of organic matter. And natural decay of organic matter. And natural decay of organic matter. All of these are the part of the natural sources. Next, write down anthropogenic human-made sources. Next category is anthropogenic human-made sources. What is this anthropogenic human-made sources? All other activities that you are doing, setting of industry, coal, what set of industry? Your thermal power plant. Thermal power plant से सबसे ज़्यादा आपका pollution create होता है. Your all the vehicle emissions, your aircrafts, ships, etc. All of these are creating lot of pollution. ठीक है, लिखिए industrial emission, comma, agriculture practices, comma, automobile exhaust, etc. Now write down major sources of, what are the major, write down, what are the major gaseous pollutants, gaseous air pollutants emitted through anthropogenic activities. The first one that we are having is fossil fuel combustion. सबसे पहला कौन सा है? You have a fossil fuel combustion. That is one of the issue for the environment. Fossil fuel. What are the fossil fuels? Coal, petrol, all the crude oil, right? So then later on we refine it and then we get petroleum and then kerosene and etc. All of these are what? These are the natural, yes, these are the fossil fuels which are present, and because of the burning of all of these, this creates what? Gases to release, pollutants to release. So crude oil is one of the problem, your crude petroleum, then natural gases, they are also creating problem, although they are less potent than the petrols, but point is still they emit a lot of CH4, methane, which is still a greenhouse gas, right? So write down fossil fuel combustion. The first one has to be coal-fired power plants. The first one has to be coal-fired power plants. Write down. Burning sulfur-rich coal in power plants is one of the most important anthropogenic sources. Is one of the most important and largest anthropogenic sources. Write down the transportation. Next, under this only transportation. So under fossil fuel combustion, what is there? इसके अंदर ही है ये एक part A coal fired combustion. Then next will be your all the transportation. Basically, you are trying to categorize what? All the vehicular emissions which are happening. So transportation will come under the transportation only. Write down. Transportation, emissions from ships, trucks, emissions from ships, trucks, and aircraft using heavy fuel oils or sulfur laden diesel contribute to SOx levels. Sulfur laden diesel contribute notably to sulfur dioxide's level. Now, what are oil refineries and industrial boilers? The next problem which is coming from oil refineries. आपको difference पता है सब में? Coal combustion, right? This is coal fuel combustion. How it is happening? This is for your thermal power plant to generate what? Electricity. Second is for transportation, all the vehicular. You talk about aircrafts, you talk about your road transport, your everything in under that. Your four vehicle, your anything, cars, etc. will come under this. Then your ships, then your oil refineries is different. In transportation, I'm talking. Airplanes. Okay, all modes of transportation will come into that. Okay. Now your third point under this is oil refineries. पहले fossil fuel combustion के अंदर this you will write, and now write down. The third point is C. I don't see. Third point is oil refineries and industrial boilers. Oil refineries, this is also one of the fossil fuel only, and industrial boilers. When you try to do what process? Fractional distillation. Through the fractional distillation, you create different types of oil. Okay, write down. Combustion of high sulfur fuel in these facilities releases high sulfur fuels in these facilities releases significant amount of sulfur dioxide. Significant amount of sulfur dioxide and other gases. अब इसी में दूसरा प्रोसेस आपका क्या है? This is a fossil fuel combustion. दूसरा प्रोसेस क्या होगा? What is going to be a second process? Sulfur I'll write on the second page. Okay, the first one we have seen what? Fossil fuels combustion. And we have seen three parts of it. 1, 2, 3. Define. A part is coal fire, then oil refineries, etc. Second is industrial processes. वो transportation इसमें आ गया ना. Second is industrial processes. This is a different process where you're setting up the plants and then the SO2s, etc. are being released. Particularly in which industry this industrial process is creating a problem? In the melting. Write down smelting and write down metal smelting and refining. Write down metal smelting and refining. उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा pollution release होता है metal smelting industries में and refining. Have you seen the metal smelting industries? Aluminium, copper, etc. को क्या किया जाता है? पहले उनको scrap को smelt किया जाता है, and that particular area it's creating lot of smoke. उसमें सारे unwanted pollutants होते हैं which are quite dangerous for your health. So write down metal smelting and refining. Operations such as copper and lead smelting. Operations such as metals में क्या क्या आ जाएगा? Copper, lead, aluminium. Copper and lead smelting emit sulfur compounds. Smelting. Okay. Now there is a very important thing that is happening because of all this. I have discussed in the starting of the class about the acid rain. Now because of this process, there are two gases which have been released. One you call it as SO2 and NO2. Now this SO2 and NO2, when they react with H2O, water vapor is present in the environment, they react with H2O and create what? Two acids which you call it as H2SO4 and HNO3. And the combination of this creates what? Acid rain. Okay? So write down this. What are the implications? What are the repercussions of all this? Write down. Acid rain. Likhiye. Write down acid rain. When the pH of rainwater drops, pH means, do you understand pH? What is that? Scale for the acid and bases. So when the pH of the rainwater drops below 5.6, it is known as acid rain. Write down. Next point. When SO2 and NOx combine with water, in the atmosphere, they form sulfuric acid and nitric acid. And when together they combine, and when together they combine, they create acid rain. And when together they combine, this creates acid rain. Now, what could be the impacts of acid rain? क्या क्या हो सकता है impact acid rain का? Now, you have to define the impact of acid rain into 3 parts. What is that? You have to define it in the aquatic, terrestrial and soil. So write down impacts of acid rain. सबसे पहले लिखेंगे on aquatic life. First, we need to define it on aquatic life. Aquatic life में क्या होगा? When your acid level is increasing in atmosphere, तो उससे क्या होगा? Yes, in the aquatic life also the ocean acidification will start getting over there. क्या होगा? अगर आपका ocean का acidification बढ़ जाएगा, your acidification is increased, you call this process as oceanic acidification. It is quite potent for the organisms. कैसे potent है? I have discussed already ocean acidification in the class. ठीक है? So what do you understand by that? अगर ocean का acidification बढ़ जाएगा तो क्या हो जाएगा? Survive नहीं कर पाएंगे. Excellent. So what will happen? The organisms which are present beneath. और इसका क्यों होता है? Let me explain that. So the point is this: when CO2 level increases in the water, CO2 this combines with H2O and creates weak carbonic acids. This weak carbonic acids have been created. ठीक है? So all of this will create what? Acidification बढ़ जाएगा, and in this case where acidification increases, it is very difficult for the fishes to lay eggs. The eggs becomes quite thinner, and because of this process they are not able to survive well. ठीक है? So लिखिए acidification of rivers and lakes. Acidification of rivers and lakes makes them unsuitable for the fishes, by disrupting their reproductive patterns. इनका reproductive patterns को क्या कर देंगे? Disrupt कर देंगे. By disrupting their reproductive patterns. And causing population decline. Full stop. At pH 5, decline. Full stop. At pH 5, most fish eggs cannot hatch. At pH 5, most fish eggs cannot hatch. Right? Now write down on marine environment. और लिखिए. Write down next point on marine environment. MARINE. On marine environment. Altered means changed. Altered pH levels in marine waters affect species distribution. Full stop. Species distribution. Full stop. Shell forming organisms such as mollusks. Shell forming, जिनके ऊपर क्या बनता है? Shell बनता है. जैसे कौन? Mollusks. All of these will have a very thin shell. Mollusks suffer impaired shell formation. They suffer impaired shell formation. Now, what is the implication of the acidification on soil?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you please repeat after industrial processes? I was disconnected.
वो तो बहुत पीछे था.
Ma'am, just the briefing of what happened after that.
Industrial processes last हमने कब किया है? So I have explained the whole of the acid rain. You can do one thing, Akansha. Once this class gets over, you can go back into the recording because we have already covered 15 minutes the class. उसके बाद.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so you can go back into recording. If you have any doubt, you can come back to me in the next class. So write down, लिखिए, on soils, acid rain harms soil, acid rains harm soil by removing nutrients. Acid rain harms soil by removing nutrients. क्या होगा अगर acid rain आपका, it will get assimilated in the soil? What will happen in that case? It will create a leaching process. It's a process wherein it increases, yes, sure, it increases the leaching process. This means what? Your soil acidification increases, और soil acidification increase होगा तो क्या होगा? What will happen? Crops will grow properly. कैसे? Because nutrients have been taken away. जैसे ही आपका acid value, your pH value will decrease. It means what? Your acid value will increase of the soil. जैसे ही वो बढ़ेगा, लीचिंग प्रोसेस फास्ट हो जाएगा. लीचिंग प्रोसेस का मतलब क्या है? जो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म स्टार्टेड डेवलपिंग, जो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म बहुत एक्टिव हो जाएंगे, और एक्टिव हो जाएंगे तो ऑर्गेनिक मैटर पे जल्दी क्या करेंगे, उसको इनऑर्गेनिक मैटर में कन्वर्ट कर देंगे. And then all of this, when the water will come here, I mean the rainfall will come here, and with the agriculture, with the water discharge, etc., the nutrients will also be carried away. इस प्रोसेस को कहते हैं लीचिंग प्रोसेस. ठीक है, राइट डाउन, लिखिए, acid rain harms soil, acid rain harms soil by removing nutrients, comma, leaching calcium and increasing aluminium levels, and increasing aluminium levels. That's all. I'm giving you 5 minutes break. Okay? And then we will continue with the topic of water pollution, radioactive and noise. Abhi notes चाहिए. My notes are sufficient. When I'm giving you so much of notes to write, right? And you take a big notebook. Otherwise, you. Because I thought previously, I thought you just came for the orientation and by mistake you're carrying it. I thought just to inform you. Right. And how come you have decided to come from the architect background altogether to this? Okay. All right. Okay. The motivation is coming from there.
Not exactly.
Okay.
Because I have a plan. This would not. I'll give it for us.
Hmm.
And I here doing those students. Not that person for us.
That's good. That's good. Even I like people who have this thing. They have the plans for.
Because
You need to have the plan for when you are joining it and when you are exiting it.
we go already very often. We
Okay.
so it's very hard to study. Actually, not even rather not.
Okay. You're still pursuing your this BE program, right? You're
Yeah,
still.
I'm saying that's
Yeah. That's what.
last.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're still pursuing it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, like the colleges and then based on
Okay. It's not an internship program.
like it's like yeah, then full time.
Okay. You get PPUs.
Yes.
Okay.
I just
And where are they based out of? No, where are they based out of? Where you'll be operating from? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I do better that since I'm
Mm.
and don't
Mhm.
spend part-time was
Mm.
study there.
In the office itself. Okay, you get time. Okay.
Since the project is very used, it's not much.
Mhm.
But usually, I don't feel numbers.
Mhm.
I like to others.
Mhm.
The questions.
Mhm.
Just the stream.
Actually, this is for yes, this is for no yes state based. Have you got it? I mean, have you checked with somebody that you need to have these special subjects or not?
Yes. All two
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. Sure. So I've given 5 minutes break to you guys. That was fine, but you need to add intro also. Intro, objectives, conclusion. That is how you have to write. तभी intro नहीं था, intro missing था, and then you have to write full sentence. Like you started with to do. No, don't like write that. You have to start with some statement initial that the program is to do with this. Write certain terms in that. Hmm. Conclusion. Basically, objectives is your body. Herein, it could be objective. The body can include objective plus your drawbacks, whatever it is. This demand from the demand of the question, whatever the demand of the question is, you have to write in that way. Okay. So next we'll be moving to the water pollution. Okay, one thing I want to add in this before it, there are two types of, there are other pollutants also which are present. Let me just quickly discuss this one. Okay, there's a particulate air pollutants that I have been talking about, right? The PM 2.5 and PM 10. So write down first, what is a particulate air pollutants? What are particulate air pollutants? Particulate air pollutants. Write down. Write down the heading, particulate air pollutants. लिखिए. First point, smog. SMOG, smog. First write down smog. It's a mixture of fog and smoke. It's a mixture of fog plus smoke. It's a mixture of fog plus smoke. You call it as smog. SMOG. The word smog was first used by Dr. H.A. Wosk. Dr. H.A. Wosk. Spelling is written on the board. It is EUX, not UEX. It's a mixture of fog plus smoke. Write down. What is the smog composition? Okay. Smog composition, write down. Smogs are mainly formed above urban centers and it consisted of are mainly formed above urban centers, and it is composed mainly of tropospheric ozone, and it's mainly composed of tropospheric ozone, ब्रैकेट में लिखिए O3, comma, primary particulate matter such as pollen and dust. Primary particulate matter such as pollen and dust. Can you see it on the board? Pollen and dust. And secondary particulate matter such as sulfur oxides, comma, volatile organic compounds, sulfur oxides, comma, volatile organic compounds, comma, nitrogen oxides, and ammonia gas. Volatile organic compounds and ammonia gas. Ammonia is NH3. Okay. So understand, when I have discussed about O3 over here, this is not the same O3 which is present in the atmosphere, which is your stratosphere. So there are two O3s which are present. One is a good ozone, another one is O3 is basically your ozone. There are two types are already discussed. One is bad ozone, which is present on the planet, on the surface of the earth. The other one is present in the atmosphere. How many layers are there in the atmosphere? Yes, troposphere, stratosphere. In stratosphere, you are having O3. This O3, the stratosphere, protects us from the ultraviolet rays coming from the sun. So that is good. But this O3, which has been formed on the surface of the earth, is quite detrimental for the humans. Okay. So this is mixed with other pollutants, create what? Smog. So your smog could be, first is what? It could be your smoke plus dust. You call it as smog. Then what can be the other materials added to it? Secondary pollutant material, particulate material, sulfur dioxide, VOCs, volatile organic compounds, your nitrogen oxide and ammonia gas. All of these together can make what? Yes. Yes, correct. Okay. Write down now types of smog. There are two types of smog. This is important for prelims. लिख लीजिए ऊपर. Types of smog. There are two types of smog right now. The first type of smog that I am concerned about is London smog. London smog, which you call it as sulfur smog also. Write down. Classical smog occurs in the cool, humid climate. Classical smog occurs in a cool, humid climate. Do you know what is cool, humid? There is a water vapor present also, and it's a cool, mild climate. So because of the combination of both, there can be the classical smog, and it happens only in London. I mean, the phenomena is seen in London. This can also happen in other areas also. I'm not saying that. It's just that you need to have the combination of these two things. Yes, temperature is moderate, but it's still humid, and then you will have the classical. बहुत जगह होता है, हो सकता है एशियन कंट्रीज में डेफिनेटली, बट द पॉइंट इज या इसको और क्या बोलते हैं, सल्फर स्मॉग भी बोलते हैं. ठीक है. सो राइट डाउन, इट इज अ मिक्सचर ऑफ स्मोक प्लस फॉग and sulfur dioxide. It's a mixture of smoke, fog, and sulfur dioxide. So wherever this phenomena is seen, it's not particularly in London only you can see it, but yes, London definitely you have this kind of a London smog being formed over there, so surface smog being formed over there. I don't know, photochemical smog. The next type of smog that we are having is photochemical smog. What do you mean by photo here? Photo means what? Light. Photosynthesis, photo means light. Now write down. It is also known as Los Angeles smog. It is also known as Los Angeles smog. Next point. Photochemical smog occurs in warm, dry, and sunny. It occurs in warm, dry, and sunny. Photochemical smog occurs in warm, dry, sunny climate. And the main components of it is, unsaturated hydrocarbons. And the main component of it is unsaturated hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxide. Unsaturated hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxide. And nitrogen oxide. Okay. Clear, everyone? Okay. Anything you have to ask from this? Then I quickly start with the water pollution. Anything you need to ask from this?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, you said about of rainwater is 5.6, right?
Yeah.
So it means like it's reacted with carbon dioxide from carbonic acid, right?
Hmm.
So does not cause any ocean acidification?
Yes, you yourself said this thing. Carbonic acid been formed. So when carbonic acid has been formed, it's creating a acidification only. आपने खुद ही आंसर दिया इसका.
No, ma'am, if rainwater occurs in 5.6 and cause acidification of ocean, then till that time we have a lot of, rain is falling on oceans. Why does it need to cause acidification already?
I didn't get your point. You're saying that
Ma'am, rain usually is 5.6, right? So it's like a recent activity or like from longer period of time, it's the same pH.
no, it will have the same pH unless you will not treat it. The point is, it's not about that. Though we have now a lot of remedies how you have to treat the soil. Obviously, we will add a lot of base into this, and then we'll treat that up. So in that case, we are trying to nullify the implications of the soil acidification. So when you add the base, you will treat that soil in that case, and it's no longer going to impact you. So the point is here, if you go with the natural processes, then definitely you have to have either the organic way of doing the things, or you will add some fertilizers, etc., to nullify the implications of acidification. So that is what you can do. Obviously, it is going to stay for a longer period of time if it is not treated. Right? The moment it is treated, then definitely you can nullify
No,
that.
ma'am. What I'm saying is rain actually happens in oceans also, right?
Yes, it happens in the ocean as well.
So from the start of this earth or some hydrocycle,
Mhm.
rain is happening on oceans. Why it's still been converted to like this 5.6 range? Why it is still neutral?
It's not. You are saying that it's acidification is happening in the oceans. How come it's going to be neutral?
No, ma'am, rain also makes acidification, right?
And
It
rain
happens.
also, yes, rain also it basically aggravates the acidification. Acid rain is already there. It aggravates the situation, and if the pH value of the ocean is already less, it aggravates it. And the point is, अगर ये सारी situation है तो क्या होगा? और वही सारी चीजें होंगी. For example, it can lead to the eutrophication process. Eutrophication, I've already told you that there could be an algal bloom on the surface of the ocean. Right?
No,
And
ma'am, my question is like if it's like as is causing acidification, why ocean is alkaline still today?
How can you say so? It's alkaline.
Ma'am, it because like normally it's the salt form. In this, if it's a salt, pH will be above 7, mostly alkaline, between the alkaline and salt.
Hmm.
Salt pH will be like around 7, so you can
Okay,
touch with the hand.
I got your answer. I got your question. The point you are asking is that you're basically confused between two things. So basically, you're combining the two facts. You're saying the salinity of the soil is there, and you're talking about acidification also, ma'am. So the salinity is going to be there. Obviously, we talk about the Pacific Ocean, we talk about the Atlantic Ocean, we talk about the salinity of it, right? And then you're saying, how can it become acidic? Please understand, we are not talking about the whole ocean. We're talking about a specific area. We are specific about particular area. When we talk about rivers, when we talk about oceans, we are not talking about the whole of the ocean. We're talking about particular section of it. You're considering, again, you're generalizing the point. आप पूरे ocean का acidification कर रहे हैं. We are not saying that. We are saying the particular area of the ocean is getting acidified because of all these industrial activities. If my industries has been set up here, or my agriculture, or whatever it is, land is set up here, and what will happen? अगर मैं यहाँ पे agriculture activity करूँगी, fertilizers use करूँगी, वो सारा यहाँ पे discharge होगा, तो impacts यहीं पर तो आएगा. Why it will create the impact on the whole of the ocean? So you are confusing two things. One is salinity, another one is your oceanic acidification. And we are not just concerned about the ocean acidification, we are also concerned about the rivers, sea. So you are taking the larger picture of ocean ki baat kare, I'm just talking about certain section of either the certain section of ocean or rivers or sea. That is what you have to also consider. Getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now write down water pollution. Likhiye. Water pollution. Water pollution occurs when harmful substances such as organic and inorganic materials, comma, radiation, organic and inorganic materials, comma, radiation, and heat are added to the water bodies, comma, making the water unsafe for consumption. Full stop. Water pollution affects not only the surface water. Water pollution, it affects बेवजह water pollution affects not only the surface water but also it affects underground water, comma, not only surface water but it also affects underground water, comma, oceans, underground water, comma, oceans and lakes. Now first write down what are the environmental effects of water pollution. क्या environmental effects हो सकते हैं water pollution के? Environmental effects of water pollution. लिखिए. What could be the environmental effects of water pollution? Write down. लिखिए. Oxygen depletion. The first one is oxygen depletion. Microorganism decomposing. Sewage. So what is this oxygen depletion? See, first understand, then you write the things. When you are saying the pollutants are being increased, the pollutants का क्या मतलब है? उसमें कुछ भी हो सकता है, nutrients हो सकते हैं, anything could be there. So when आपका pollutants, सबसे पहले हमने क्या डिस्कस करा है? कुछ भी हो सकता है, वो biological pollutant भी हो सकता है, anything could be there. So when all of these increases, your nutrients, और जब nutrients increase होंगे तो क्या होगा? Phytoplanktons. What are these? The plants under the water. ठीक है, this will also increase, this will become dead and decay, right? With this will become dead and decay, and then what will happen? Again, microorganism has to feed upon it, they have to convert it into inorganic. इसके लिए इनको क्या चाहिए? More of oxygen. So can you see the oxygen availability, which was earlier you required less of it, now you require more of it. Why? Because you have lot of activities to do in the ocean. उतना ही oxygen level पहले भी उतना था, अभी भी उतना है. But the point is when your demand increases, then it becomes very difficult for them to fulfill it. So what we need a situation wherein we have to, this process is known as what? Oxygen depletion. ऐसा बात नहीं है कि ऑक्सीजन अभी भी उतना है, but the point is when activity increases, then it seems to be depleting for the more of organism. और यही ऑक्सीजन किसको नहीं मिलेगा? ऑर्गेनिजम्स को ऑक्सीजन कम पड़ेगा, जो उनके नीचे जो बीनीथ में जो फिशेस है, कोरल्स है, उनको क्या पड़ेगा? कम पड़ेगा. So write down microorganism decomposing sewage consume large amount of, it consumes large amount of dissolved oxygen. It consumes large amount of dissolved oxygen, comma, leading to oxygen deficiency. Leading to oxygen deficiency. This leads to the process, we call it as oxygen deficiency, which leads to oxygen deficiency. Next, write down. It also creates algal bloom. It also creates algal bloom. What is this process of algal bloom? What is that? See, when the nutrients have been increased, so you're getting excessive of nutrients. कैसे मिल रहे excessive of nutrients? Agriculture, sewage, agriculture discharge, all the nutrients are coming. So now the plant's growth will be increased exponentially. When the plant growth will increase exponentially, it will cover the whole of the surface, the top surface of the water, of the river. When it covers the top surface, then the light will be obstructed. यहाँ पे light नीचे तक नहीं आ पाएगी, right? And then what will happen? These fishes are not going to get light also and oxygen also. This process is known as eutrophication. इस process को कहते हैं eutrophication या algal bloom. Algal bloom means your whole surface of this will be covered with the phytoplanktons or other plant species. ठीक है? Write down. Nutrient overload. Algal bloom में लिखिए. Nutrient overload, especially nitrates and phosphate. Nutrient overload, especially nitrates plus phosphates. Nutrient overload, especially nitrates plus phosphates, causes rapid growth of algae. Causes rapid growth of algae. ALGAE. ब्रैकेट में लिखिए फाइटोप्लैंक्टॉन्स. ब्रैकेट में लिखेंगे फाइटोप्लैंक्टॉन्स, कॉमा, known as algal bloom. Known as algal bloom, comma, which reduces light penetration. Which reduces light penetration and dissolved oxygen. Next, what this and another environmental effect of water, write down. इस पूरे प्रोसेस को यूट्रोफिकेशन बोलते हैं. EUTROPHICATION. Next, what it can create? It can create biomagnification. What is this process of biomagnification? देखिए, अगर एक pollutant, for example, this pollutant is present in a fish. This fish is eaten by some other big fish. So what will happen? The pollutant which is present in this fish will increase to more amount in another fish which has been eaten by this, right? Then if this fish is consumed by another species, for example humans, now this particular pollutant will increase on and on. The pollutant which is present in the lowest level means trophic level, जो आपका secondary phase में है. For example, you call it as secondary level. So this, when it eaten by this pollutant, is present there. Now this has been feeded by this big fish. This big fish is being eaten by humans. So biomagnification means this pollutant will become from minute to larger one in the humans. This process is known as biomagnification. जब pollutants आपका lower trophic level से बड़े trophic level पे जाता है, तो वो biomagnify हो जाता है. ये it will not going to impact these as much as it's going to impact them, us, right? जैसे classic example है DDT. DDT use किया जाता है, which has been strictly prohibited in the country, restricted, not prohibited, strictly restricted in the country. DDT has been used to kill the pest in the croplands. So this DDT has been used by the farmers. Now when they were using it, the crops were further eaten up by rats. ये DDT ने rats को इतना affect नहीं किया. Later on, when rats were fed upon by the vultures, it affected them so much that it led to a lung failure, kidney failure of vultures. So then we started understanding that why this biomagnification is very problematic, not for the lower trophic level, but for the higher trophic level. Higher trophic level, just we are coming in the higher trophic level. Vultures, leopards, tigers, they are the higher trophic level. Plants क्या है? Lower trophic level पे. ठीक है? इस process को क्या कहते हैं? Biomagnification. So write down toxic substances like DDT and mercury. Toxic substances like DDT and mercury increases in concentration along the food chain, affecting the top predators. Right? Okay. What are the major other contaminants that we can see? For example, lead, arsenic, ये भी क्या है? Contaminants है. ठीक है? Lead, you know, heavy metal, arsenic, heavy metal, mercury, heavy metal, ये भी contaminants है, which you can see. Fluoride, again, contaminant. Okay. Now come to the next point, which we are going to discuss is radioactive elements, radiation and nuclear pollution. Water pollution. Radiation and nuclear pollution. And for the assignment, you have to write down your assignments. What is the noise pollution? This we will do right here, but write down your assignment also. What is the noise pollution? State the measures taken by government to reduce the noise pollution in the country. I'll discuss this question in the next class. Okay. Write down one more question under this. What is the idea of green crackers? Green crackers. और इसको आपको बहुत ही don't write in a very very layman language. Try to very specific with the green crackers. What are the green crackers? What are they going to? How they are going to decrease the pollution level? How much percentage they are going to decrease? So all of this you have to write. For example, they are developed by the CSIR. ये सब कुछ आपको mention करना है. Okay. Okay. Now come to the last leg of it, which you call it as radioactive pollution. What do you understand by radioactive elements? अभी आपने news सुना होगा in Bangalore, there was some report which is coming from there that some radon materials have been dissolved in the normal waters, drinking water of Bangalore. So that was the news which was coming at that point of time. It's having radioactive elements. How come the radioactive elements get dissolved in the drinking water at first place? What could be the source of it? What could be there, and how they're getting dissolved? This was a statement, right? When they tested the water, drinking water of Bangalore, they saw that there was a higher level of radioactive elements present in that, and people were drinking it. A lot of people got affected by it. People were drinking it, but what could be the reasons behind that? How come they got dissolved into this? Very good. Poor inspection of the factory. Then not treating the chemicals at the source. For example, if your factory is there which is using certain materials which is required as a component, as a raw material to produce something. For example, if I require even little bit of arsenic, maybe, or maybe radon or anything to produce any sort of a product, then, and I'm not treating that at the source, I'm not treating it in the factories itself, and I'm discharging them recklessly, this will create what? Dissolve. It will dissolve into the drinking water as well. There could be the what do you call? There could be a leakage. There could be any sort of the problems it can create in the drinking water, and then your supply becomes what? Polluted. ठीक है? या फिर क्या हो सकता है? कुछ mining sites पे आपने whatever you have extracted, all the soil that you have extracted, because when you have to extract, you have to take out the soil, right? You have to put it somewhere and you have to treat it back. You can't just let it like that, and then the soil can go and then again it can discharge. It can discharge. This is called as water discharge. Through the water discharge, it can come along with it and get dissolved into the water, right? So ये सारे तरीके हो सकते हैं, mining के through, chemicals के through. All of these are the sources. So this becomes now problematic. या फिर क्या हो सकता है? Your nuclear power plants. वहाँ पे अगर कोई भी mishap हो गया, for example, there was it was a big event which happened in Chernobyl, which is where Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which is there in Ukraine. So by mistake, what happened? The radioactive elements which are required to be highly safe, right? At that point of time, what they did, they by some negligence or errors, it led to the release of all these radioactive elements and created a lot of problems, still creating a lot of problems. So all of these creates what? It creates problem for the humans and for the other species. So basically it creates problem for the whole ecosystem. You call it as ecosystem. So write down, radioactive pollution refers to the presence of, it refers to the presence of radioactive substances. It refers to the presence of radioactive substances or rays caused by human activities, comma, in excess of state norms. In excess of state norms मतलब जितना permitted है उससे ज्यादा. अगर permissible level से ऊपर होगा, then it becomes quite potent. In excess of state norms on the surface or inside the mediums of material. Now write down the sources of radiation pollution. Write down the sources of radiation pollution. The first one is cosmic rays. The first one is cosmic rays, comma, radon gas from the Earth's crust, comma, radioactive elements in soil such as uranium-238, radioactive elements in soil such as uranium-238, comma, thorium-232, or it can also get released from or it can also get released from anthropogenic activities. Anthropogenic activities such as nuclear power plants. Nuclear power plants such as Chernobyl, which happened in 1986. Then nuclear weapon test. Nuclear weapon test. Next, uranium and thorium mining. Uranium and thorium mining. Nuclear weapon test. Then uranium and thorium mining. Then medical and industrial use. Now you write down effects of radiation pollution. Radiation pollution. Effects of radiation pollution. लिखिए. You write down in how many words? 50 words. Just write down the points. That's it. Detail mat likhiye. I'll also dictate this one. Don't worry, I'll dictate this one, but just write down. Structure it. Okay. Write down. Environmental effects लिखिए. सबसे पहले लिखेंगे ऊपर. Infertile soil, polluted air, and water for decades. Environmental pollution, infertile soil, comma, polluted air, and water for decades. Next, water for decades. Next, bioaccumulation in plants and animals. Okay, there could be a lot of biological effects also. जैसे genetic, for example, if you remember the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that nuclear thing happened. In that area, even now the genes they get changed. Okay, they get mutated. So all of this happens. Write down. There could be a genetic damage. लिखिए biological effects में genetic damage, mutation in germ cells is passed on to the next generation. Mutation in germ cell passed on to the next generation.
So genetic modification allows cancer,
हाँ वो सब भी हो सकता है. Yes. Now
DNA damage.
DNA damage. Now write down control measures. Now write down control measures. Deep geological burial, comma, reprocessing fuel rods. Reprocessing fuel rods. Rods. Reprocessing fuel rods, comma, and sealed storage. Sealed storage. मतलब जहां पे भी आप लेके जा रहे हैं यूरेनियम को या कोई भी रेडियो एक्टिव मटेरियल को, it should be sealed. It should be carefully checked wherever it has been transported, wherever it is been kept. The leakage should not be there. All of this should have a regular monitoring. It should be regulated. Otherwise, what will happen if you're not regulating it, if you're not monitoring it, then there could be a lot of issues with respect to this. So write down no ocean dumping और स्पेस डिस्पोजल. आप इसको ओशन में डंप नहीं कर सकते ऐसे. नो ओशन डंपिंग और स्पेस डिस्पोजल. इनफैक्ट ओशन डंपिंग के लिए तो एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कन्वेंशन भी है जो हमने पिछली बार किया था, विच यू कॉल इट एज मार्पोल कन्वेंशन, राइट. मार्पोल से क्या नहीं कि मार्पोल कन्वेंशन इज sticking to your pollution and any sort of pollution. It could be oil pollution, could be noxious chemicals. So noxious chemical includes all these radioactive elements also. So there could not be a dumping of all these chemicals. There could be no ocean dumping. Bracket में लिख लीजिए Marpol Convention. We do have a Marpol, M-A-R-P-O-L, Marpol Convention. उसकी precautions अभी भी मतलब he kept on happening. I think there's a movie also on that on Netflix. हाँ, there is. So this happened quite on this basis. The point is that they have not taken the proper measures, and then it happened, and still now they are being affected by it. Write down now more control and safety measures. लिखिए safe nuclear reactor designs. Safe nuclear reactor design, comma, underground testing and radiation shielding. Underground testing and radiation shielding. Next, minimize the production of radioactive isotopes. Next, minimize the production of radioactive isotopes. Next point, use radiation only when necessary. Use radiations only when necessary. And after that, write down the public awareness, comma, radioactive zones warning sign, radioactive zones warning sign, strict regulation via Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, strict regulation via Atomic Energy Regulatory Board and IAEA guidelines Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. ठीक है. Okay, आज का नया pollution क्या है? Your e-waste. What is that? Electronic waste, right? This is also one of the ways which is coming as a pollutant only, because it is again non-biodegradable. Your whatever phones etc. you're using, because you cannot use it much, and then what do? You dismantle it, right? So the point is, again, it has been not treated well. It is a the part of a pollution only. So now we are coming up with a lot of e-waste rules. So for example, India come up with the e-waste rule 2022 or plastic waste rule 2022. Go and have a look at this also. ठीक है, ये भी लिख लीजिए. What is e-waste rule 2022 and plastic waste rules 2022? You should know all this. E-waste rule 2022 and plastic waste rule 2022. I'll discuss this in the next class. That's all for today. Your pollution topic has been completed. Few of the topics which I've given you for the assignment, you can come back. We will discuss it in the next class in detail. And then the only thing that I want to tell you is, the pollution का topic जब भी कर रहे हैं तो current affairs का थोड़ा देख के चलिए. अगर current affairs में कोई भी ऐसा news है, so try to get that thing in your answers also. You can write through your examples, etc. Explain it in much better way in the answer writing. Okay. Please do your questions which I have given you earlier. वो complete कर लीजिए. Yes, yes, I am. Correct.
fruit and what
Which one? No, it is. I think it is. Let me check. It is. It is. Thank you so much, friends.